and welcome to the David Tomsic Show, fighting tyranny one day at a time. Well, we've all witnessed it. People fighting over Donald Trump, fighting over politics, fighting over policy statements, fighting over immigration, tariffs, taxes. Go down the list. What's happening here? Well, first of all, I wonder what Christians are doing about this. It's Christians that are in the midst of this because it was the Christian right that helped get Donald Trump elected. Now, these people do believe, as I've mentioned in other videos, that Donald Trump is God's man in God's country, that God wants to reestablish this as a Christian nation. Of course, that's absurd, but I digress. I don't believe that as a Christian. Many other Christians do not either. But my question is, what are they really thinking? What do they think Jesus would say if he was here today about immigration? Are they going to stick to their guns because these are all here illegally? They have to get rid of everybody because Jesus would agree they came in illegally. It's illegal. And of course, they say this a lot. It's legalism is what it is. I understand what the law states. But for Jesus, these would not be illegal immigrants. These would be part of a flock he could grow, someone to preach to. He never pushed anybody away back when he walked this earth. In fact, he welcomed the immigrant. He welcomed the people that were travelers. He welcomed everybody. You see, if this was truly God's country, there'd be no problem. If these right-wing people were truly God's people, they wouldn't be complaining about him. They'd be out ministering to him. But I digress there. You see, we forget the words of Jesus. We don't want to deal with those things. We in America want what we want now. Why do you think Donald Trump was elected? He was elected because he promised to get things done now. 100 or so executive orders, none of which are going to matter at the end of the day. But he did them, and we feel better about it. Donald Trump decided to throw our allies under the bus. All the right-wing people are cheering. Donald Trump tickled the fancies of America's right-wing voters. He let them hear what they wanted to hear, things that he wanted to hear. His hatred for people, his biases and prejudices were all packed up into one big message. We're going to make America great again. But what would Jesus do about that? Does Jesus really care that America becomes great again? Is that what his mission was when he walked this earth? I don't think so. The problem is many people do believe this, and there's no way to convince them differently. I've heard in arguments how people say that the crime wave is massive across the country. None of this has been found to be true. Donald Trump lives off of conspiracy theories, and most people who listen to him believe what he's saying because he's the president and he knows everything. Unfortunately, nearly all of these conspiracy theories have been debunked. Let's go back to Jesus' words. How about listening to the Beatitudes or his position on this? Which you do to the least of these, you do unto me. Well, gee whiz, what do we do to the least of these in this country? We take their benefits away. We toss them out. We raid their houses. We throw them in jail. We put them in paddy wagons. We stalk them. We scream at them. We argue with them. That's what we do. Is that Jesus? But again, what type of Christian are you? Where do you want to stand on these things? America has had many advantages. We were great because of the things that we were very fortunate to be a part of. We were given the world's reserve currency for our dollar, making us pretty much invincible in the economy, allowing us to create tons of debt with no consequences. Nobody else had that advantage, yet right-wing Christian Americans won't talk about that. They talk about we deserve to be number one. We are number one, and we'll throw everybody in the world under the bus until we're number one, no matter what the consequences, no matter who we screw, no matter how many people we hurt. Is that Jesus? No. The answer to all these questions is no. Jesus was a man of peace. He put his hand out to the poor, to the needy, to those that live on the fringe, to those who were sick and ill. Today, we want to let them all die, take their benefits away, take everything they need away from them, take the safety nets and cut it so they fall through and hit the ground because they don't deserve it. Only the rich white people deserve it. And that's what we're heading to, this rich white oligarchy that is now controlling America. Too many Christians are more than happy to overlook the words of Christ, to not let that apply to what's happening in America. They want to stick with their belief that America is number one because God has put us as number one. Once again, no matter who it hurts and how many people it destroys. Unfortunately, Donald Trump is just a symptom of this disease, the symptom of this sickness, which is selfishness and greed. If you believe that Jesus Christ cared about how many immigrants came into this country, you're dead wrong. He came for souls. And that's the job of every Christian, to help him find those souls that need him, to reach out to them, to minister to them, and let them see Jesus in you. Well, God bless you. It's all the time I have. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. And I'll see you next time right here on the David Tomsic Show.